Who else can I serve with a really targeted email based upon the actions or inactions they're taking? There is so much business within businesses that exist of just pure profit. And that's why businesses and just in general, the whole market, all markets right now, from every conversation I've had, they're immensely struggling. People don't realize the impact you actually have on people or the lack of impact you have on people when you are or are not marketing to them.
How can you help us, though, continue to help you? First, please subscribe to the channel. Like us. If you listen to the audio version, leave us a 5-star review wherever you can. If you see our posts, please share those posts, share the content, and link back to our law firm website, which helps us to continue our SEO marketing and grow our firm and help small business owners. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the show. We are going to be talking to Jon in a minute. Jon's company is Profit to Lies, correct, Jon?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. And Jon is, for those listening, a globally recognized digital marketing consultant, international speaker, and CEO of Profitize. And he's guided over 20,000 businesses to hyper profitable growth. And we're going to talk today about digital marketing because it is an area that is, we were just saying offline, very lucid. It's moving around all over the place. Everybody's got different opinions and you don't know where to turn. So we'll have a little bit of talk about that. I always remind people, first of all, if you're listening, like us, share the episodes, leave us a 5-star review whenever you can. Like us on YouTube. We're trying to build the video channel. You'll hear a commercial about this later in the show. If you're listening, anything we discuss and we say, I remind you, is for entertainment purposes only. Yes. If you're going to make decisions based on stuff we discuss, find a professional, talk to local people. Don't make decisions about your marketing, about your legal, about anything without talking to local professionals. So, Jon, welcome to the show. I appreciate it. Let's why don't we start with your background in business and life and whatever, and then we can get into all the digital marketing stuff second half of the show. Make sense?
That sounds perfect. And it begins with not myself, but my dad, Richard, because I'm technically a second generation digital marketer. My dad had 2 offline businesses in a local mall here in Hibbing, Minnesota.
Okay.
And they went bankrupt in 2008. The housing crisis, the stock market, everything just collapsed. And because the local economy of Hibbing, it's based on steel. It's based on kind of global economies.
Right.
That goes down. Everything else does. Yeah, right. It kills the whole town.
Yeah.
So basically, I saw him, we had to move into welfare apartments, someone's basement, illegally, technically. Live in someone's basement. I mean, we had to. There was a whole family living in someone's basement.
Right.
And he turned to
it was just illegal because the town really didn't allow people to live in basements.
Right.
Yeah, people do that here too. They get whatever.
So my dad turned to online marketing, online sales and business, and he pulled their family out of that. Now it's a custom built house. I do business with him, and he just changed our family situation. I kind of saw that. I'm like, I'm a smart kid. Maybe I can try. So probably 13 to 15, tried. Worked at Walmart, lost all my money, failed miserably because I actually denied my dad's help.
Okay. Right.
Real smart
you know
kid.
Everything when you're 13 and 15.
Yes. So I purposely went, no, I got this. Don't worry about it.
Right.
And then
every one of my kids went through that. They're still going through it.
It takes us a bit. You got to forgive us. It takes us a long time.
It takes a couple of decades to realize that, hey, maybe your dad who's 55, 60 knows more than you when you were 15. But
he might know something.
Yeah. But look, out of fairness to you and to me and my kids, I felt the same way when I was 15, 16. I thought I knew everything. So,
right. And, I had some good ideas. It just eventually led to me going, all right, Father, can you maybe bless me with some knowledge?
Well, also if your adolescent mind doesn't work like it does now.
Oh, no, it barely was functioning.
No way. Yeah, right.
A quarter, a tenth, probably a tenth.
Right, exactly.
It just led to, thankfully then, ever since I was 15, 13, this is all I've done is mainly affiliate marketing that graduated to speaking, that graduated working with some pretty crazy clients, and then more consulting, and then now heavily more consulting because the industry is filled with, as we talked about, lots of different messaging from different people, charlatans. And I think also a part of it is not necessarily charlatans, but it is that. But also, that's what they're taught. That's what they learn.
Right. They don't know any better. Right. They believe what they're saying. I think most people I talk to really believe what but first of all, it doesn't work for everybody. And also,
right.
things are always changing. Do you remember like the first things you did when you were working for your dad, or you're
Hmm.
working, you're 15, 16, 17, 20,
Hmm.
the first things you were doing and how you were doing it in those days?
Yeah, I mean, mainly, I literally worked side by side with him. My laptop, his desktop, he was right there, which was
Right.
great. Very close to my father, which was amazing.
Nice.
It was a lot of focusing on lead gen, and I think that's still the name of the game. It's gone now to a lot of lead quality because a lot of people can get leads online through podcasting, through creating content,
Nowadays, yeah.
through
But a
running
lot of junk.
ads.
Yeah.
Right, and what you're seeing and what I think a lot of people are experiencing is you can run ads and get leads, but people's interest level and people's ability to be sold is decreasing because attention spans, because of the competition
Right.
in the market. There's so much going on. You have to have extremely high conversion rates to have a chance to really make
Right.
it be able
And
to
a lot of
scale.
these leads are hard to convert. Yeah.
That's what I think's starting to happen is the personal touch needed.
Yeah.
It and that being, I mean, strong. So like literally every customer we generate, and not all of our businesses because they couldn't handle that, but one of them currently we're building up that reputation and brand. I call manually. I see them come through. I'll spend probably 3 hours a day just calling and going, "Thank you for your business. How can I help you? What else can I do for you?"
Right.
And that's separating myself. I mean, every person I talk to, when you do that, I mean, literally do that, the long-term relationship from that of them engaging in content, opening emails, just being engaged in my sphere, it's making a difference. And I hope that continues, especially for people who are willing to do the manual touch.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Keeping in touch with people and the stickiness of relationships
Yep.
is so important, and it's overlooked. You get a lot of people that are, one and done, and you don't hear from them anymore.
Yep.
And look, I know there are some people that, I'm getting 1,400 emails from them after I do business. I don't really know them. Sometimes
Mhm.
that's annoying, but, like a lot of people I network with, if they keep me on their mailing list and they stay in touch and they keep me informed, something will come up and I'll be like, you know what? I just heard from John like 3 days ago, and
Right.
he's the guy I'm going to think of. I have people that I know do things that I need, can't remember who the heck they are because they don't stay in
Oh,
touch.
right, right. And I think they don't stay in touch. They're not creating content.
Right.
When they are in touch, it's not like personal. It's not real. And also, I think because people are being sold so much,
Yeah.
is not. I'm seeing, especially like for people who are doing outbound cold outreach, what's performing best is nonchalance to the atmosphere, being as just like this and conversational. Because I mean, with so much selling, I can get on a phone call with someone, and within 5 seconds, I know their angle. I know if they're trying to sell me. I know what type of
Right.
call. Just the tone of voice, the you name it. It's
Yeah.
immediately identifiable. And I
Yeah.
think
People
most
see right
people,
through you. Right. And they don't
yeah,
like it. People don't like to be, we're all salespeople, but nobody
yep,
wants to admit it. They don't want to say,
yeah, right. So you
I'm
might
not a
as well just
salesperson.
be upfront, or yeah, I'm selling you. I watch on TikTok. There's videos of people who do that. They're outbound salespeople calling people, and they'll do whatever the comments tell them to do. So sometimes
Right.
it's like, tell them I'm a salesperson the first 30, immediately. Hey, I'm looking to sell you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That would most likely work better than, hey, is this John? I was looking to tell you about an opportunity in your market.
And you can just hang up. Yeah. I mean, look, if you know it's a salesperson, you know what? They can just hang up. But like, get through it.
Get through it.
Get through the nose until you get a
Yep.
yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of just personality. Just I think I think the industry is used to more hype, and I think dumbing it down. Like when I call people, if I'm trying to prospect or you name it, because I still do certain things depending on the project I'm working on. It's very soft, conversational, light, because that sense of almost urgency,
Right.
depending on how you illustrate it, it's a big pushback
Right.
for
Yeah,
sure.
because people think like, well, if you can give me this price now, or you can offer me this service now, why can't you offer it to me in a week?
Yeah, yeah,
It's like going to buy a car. I hate buying. I like buying cars. I just don't like the experience. You go into a dealership, they're like, everything's well. If what will it take to close a deal now? I don't know, a free
right.
car.
I did that my first Jeep. By the way, I recommend everyone sales skills and communication is the number one skill you will learn in your entire life. If you can become a master at communicating, articulating your ideas, and
Yeah,
doing it in a way people don't know what you're
and
doing,
they feel comfortable, right?
nothing can, as in my life, it's been my entire life has been built on that, literally.
Yeah.
So I went in to get my Jeep Grand Cherokee when I first got it. It's a very nice vehicle. And I immediately shook the guy's hand. How you doing? Great. I said, I want this Jeep. I want you to take $3,000 off, and I don't want to pay a cent in taxes. If you can do that, we can make a deal. If you can't, no thank you. And he immediately goes, yeah, I don't know if we can do all that, but I'll see what I can manage.
Right.
You got to ask. You got to
Yeah. At
ask.
least he was honest, right?
Came back with no taxes, which is about $3,000 or $4,000 worth. So,
Okay.
in about $500 off too. So,
Right.
it worked
Right.
out.
It wasn't no taxes, but he lowered the price. He's covering the tax.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to ask. You got to be yourself. And I think there's a lack of huevos, for a better term. Don't want to use that term, but a lack of huevos. You got to have that. And when you do that in business and in life, the chances of landing a big opportunity or a deal or you name it, it's there. But right now, it's volume, it's intensity, with a little nonchalance, being yourself and personality, and that's what's effective right now. I'm seeing.
Yeah. Okay. So if we're going to have a discussion about digital marketing, why don't you let's put it in context? Like, what are the industries that you're working with on a regular basis, so we can understand, like, where we're coming from? We're talking professional services. Are we talking, home improvement? Are we talking, hard
Right.
goods? What are we talking about? What kind of industries you work in?
Fortunately, at this point, I've scaled to a point where it's offline and online. So I just got recently hired by C3 Barrel Saunas, a sauna company in Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
What do they do?
They sell saunas, just saunas, 24/7. It's
That you mean that digital or
all offline, and they're starting to move online. So I made their website, made some ads for them. I'm redoing their sales process, their follow up, how they call clients, how they do sales for their clients. Because, and I've sold tires before. I've helped people sell supplements. I've helped people sell agency services
right?
or consulting. All the above. The foundation of marketing, sales, business is all the same. You're talking and learning about a customer and prospect. You're identifying exactly what they want, and you're bringing them in the easiest path to get there with the least amount of resistance, with the strongest offer, with the best oomph and personality and value there is. So I've worked in, you tell me the industry, I've probably done something in it or worked with an agency that did. And it's the same. It really is the same, what people don't realize. Because I've had so many clients and customers go to me like, well, have you worked with dog toys before? Have you
Right.
sold XYZ? And I go, well, no, but
It's the same.
It's the same process. It's all basically copy, mastering copy and copywriting, and then transferring that ability to relate to any audience in any field. It's the same ideas, As long as you understand the audience extremely deeply
Yeah.
and can use the language they use, you'll compete like crazy.
But whether you're offline or online, the digital marketing is all online. So if you're a brick and mortar store and you're selling hard goods, you mentioned, I don't know if it's Sonos or Sonos, but
Sonos, yep.
those Bluetooth sound systems, right?
Yep.
Connected devices. So if they have a showroom, it's still the same thing, right? You're still connecting with them.
Yes,
online.
And it's bringing them online too. For example, so the offline world, online world are needing to get engaged, especially for local markets, smaller businesses, because everyone's shopping online. People are getting groceries to their door online. People are buying literally anything and everything. Less and less as we move towards the AI and digital age. Like, people don't realize the speed at which people, Wall-E. You ever seen Wall-E? The Wall-E people who sit in chairs and don't move and are
Right.
This is already halfway there. My generation of people are already,
I know,
90%
all
there.
looking at their screens.
Yep. So it's the offline market and small businesses especially need to adapt and learn that you need to bring things digitally into a salesperson and one-on-one conversations and move that way before your local market. Those who do adapt to that, they'll take the whole marketplace because they're meeting your customers where they're at online a lot faster than in the doors in person.
Yeah, I get approached for, like, I don't do any paid for advertising in my market as an attorney, right?
Right.
So I don't even know how the local people, like, do they really get anything out of that? I mean, I've placed ads to support a local organization or maybe the Chamber of Commerce or whatever. I don't get business from that. I mean, people don't call me up. They said, "Oh, I read your ad and I called you." They
Right.
might go to a restaurant because they see an ad and maybe it reminds them of the restaurant.
Mhm.
But I also could get an email about the restaurant or whatever. I don't need to, to
Right.
do that stuff. So it seems like a lot of that stuff is like,
It's becoming less and less effective. I
yeah,
mean,
not
you're
worth the
right.
money.
No, and the reason why too is because, especially with like what you're doing particularly, I think you have a longer general, what's the word for it? Someone to become a customer with you is a much longer, more strenuous, etc. process.
Yeah.
So then, for what you do, it's going to be even more difficult to get like an engaged person who's ready right now to pay and move things forward. So I think it's becoming, you're right, a lot less effective.
Yeah.
Um, Again, with AI and everything being used to create content, there's a lack of also skill being used to create that content, being used to
Right.
do that
You don't
marketing.
need the skill, seemingly, right? You
Right.
just kind of create it and go with it. And people
Go
don't
with
think
it.
they need people. Right.
Yeah, and then you're missing out on because if you're more skilled, you actually
Hmm.
know if the AI is actually doing a good job and can tweak and change. So that's why people are seeing they're mass creating content, they're mass doing advertising, but almost none of it is effective because there's no human touch. No, AI is going to get that good. It's happening very soon,
Right.
where it will outcompete everyone. But for the temporary moment, it's just the market's inundated with ads,
Yeah.
with people trying to sell you. So it's not effective anymore unless you are A, doing massive volume,
Hmm.
or B, your marketing is
Like
insanely
spot
great,
on. Yeah.
spot on, accurate to your customers' emotions. Because right now it's all emotional. I would say that a lot of sales is just emotions, the majority of it,
Of
and then getting
course.
them to very lightly close on the logic afterwards.
I mean, they say people make emotional decisions. They need some logic to back it up, but they really ultimately want to make emotional decisions.
It's
That's the way
more
people are.
it's more emotions to back up
Right.
their conceived percepted logic.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. So obviously, and I know the name of the game in a lot of cases, especially if you're small business owners, content, right? It's not about placing ads and paying for ads and
Yep.
right. You want to become an authority in whatever it is you do.
Hmm.
So it's clear to me from what you're saying is that one of the mistakes people make is the quality of the content that they're putting out. It's not, SEO. It's not doing the
Yep.
right thing. What are some of the other mistakes that you see business owners making, especially when you come into the fray and they
Hmm.
say, all right, John, can you evaluate what we're doing? What are the kind of things when you come in you see people do that are
The,
wrong?
the biggest thing that is impacting most businesses, and this is the age old tale that's
Yeah.
been the case forever, is follow up. Because again, like I was saying, whether you're running ads or not running ads or creating content, there is a lot of businesses that have leads that don't know how to actually convert them, and then also the steps beyond that. People think that the customer life cycle is getting you to see my ad or piece of content, getting you to opt in and then buy. That's
Right.
maybe a tenth of the actual customer life cycle for retaining them as a customer, getting them to buy upsells, resells, downsells, getting them to just engage with your brand continually. And all these things in the initial conversion all come from impeccable follow up, whether it's text, whether it's email, whether it's retargeting, preferably all of those at once.
Right. Because then you're hitting them, you have a system going on and it's all,
Yep.
yeah.
Omnipresent marketing is becoming now more of a need, and omnipresent follow up is more of a need than like the Barrel Sauna Company. Before I hired them, they were losing customers just because people are so just, I want this now. People would call, they wouldn't get a call back within 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to call a different sauna company. They can talk to me, follow up with me, make me a deal right here. You're losing customers all the time, and they sell
Yeah.
saunas for $10,000 to $20,000 a piece.
Right.
So
Oh, big time, big
a lost
expensive stuff.
customer,
Yeah.
a lost customer a month. One, you're losing out big.
Yeah. And they're just a manufacturer's rep. It's not like they have the market cornered on technology.
Right. Yeah. So
They
it's
have
it's
experience.
very intent, personal, volumized, omni-channel follow-up is where people, if you can hit this level, it's a lot. It's a lot to do all this. If you can hit that, that's when you'll be able to take the marketplace. That's when you're gonna see you'll have higher conversions and running ads and all these things will be more effective. But if you're not honestly doing most of them, you're gonna struggle right now.
Okay. So So if I'm a small business owner, right, let's talk about the things that they need to be doing, right? So one is probably building an email list, right, of people that have
100%.
visited you, done business with you, not just
Yep.
done business with you, anybody who's kind of right, come into your sphere.
Yep.
I find restaurants, I go into restaurants. You ever go to a restaurant, there's like a fish bowl where they give away a lunch or something, and you put your card in there, and then
Yep.
you never hear from these people. Like
Never,
they have a
never.
bowl of people that have basically raised their hand and said, hey, I came here today.
Yep.
And then I'll market to these people. So that's one thing that I find that people don't do. And then I guess it took me a while to realize this, but you need like some sort of a blog or something where you're putting content up, depending
To
on your industry,
continue nurturing them. Yeah,
educating people,
it's
right?
wherever your audience or customers at individually, they need individually personalized content to nurture them to the next stage of awareness. From cold market to medium market to like they're kind of warm, but they don't know enough about you. They don't know enough about your product and services, who you are, what you do, all that. You need a really, in fact, a system, an automated as much as you can, automated omni-channel system,
Right.
to constantly where leads are at in the action or inaction they're taking. So they're opening emails, they're not opening emails, they're opening certain emails, going, okay, if they're not opening, they've engaged with me initially, but something turned them off or didn't quite get them what I needed. What do they now need to see because of their previous perceptions that would get them to engage again with me? And that's where a little bit more deep marketing is in place. We're actually thinking psychologically and emotionally, logically, where your audience is in different parts of your sales process, in different parts of your follow-up, your advertising. What do they need to see next? Because often, for example, when people do follow up, which is almost never,
Right.
it's almost never, this Sauna company has never followed up with a single one of their customers to resell them ever.
They don't keep in touch with them and say, hey, how you doing? Here's our newsletter. We just had a new product come out. Did you know that Bluetooth technology causes cancer in your brain? Nothing?
Nothing. So that's why this is for me like a dream client, because I go, oh, you're doing none of the this isn't like optional anymore.
No, and it's like basic stuff. It's just intuitive.
Yep.
I mean, it makes sense. Look, my favorite book, John, I know I'm interrupting you, but
no, please.
My favorite book is a book called Referral of a Lifetime, and it is a story. You know about it? It's it's a story. It's a like one of those gung ho type of books.
Yep.
Story about this guy, and it's about keeping in touch with your clients. And I constantly see people that don't do that. And now, like you mentioned, the word automation, you can automate a lot of this stuff.
Almost all of it you can automate. Even literally. So you could go to ChatGPT, go write me a 7-day email sequence that just, and you do it smartly, that nurtures my leads to want to buy XYZ services from me. Pure nurturing, pure value. Then you go, okay, build me another one for people who have bought my product, who haven't bought my most successful upsell. Great. And then you build out doing this logic of who else can I serve with a really targeted email based upon the actions or inactions they're taking. And you keep doing that just with email alone. Now you have 3 to 5 sequences you can automate, put into any autoresponder CRM that is going to produce some kind of measurable result. And then you do that with texting, you do that with calling. There is so much business within businesses that exist of just pure profit. And that's why businesses and just in general, the whole market, all markets right now, from every conversation I've had, they're immensely struggling. A lot of markets are down. Unless you're in AI, unless you're in certain places, a lot of the not at scale businesses are having a harder and harder time. It's because a lot of things we're talking about, they haven't done. They've gotten by not doing it.
Right. But it's catching up with them.
I'm warning, like literally warning everyone. That's not going to be, it's catching up fast. And it's going to be a point where, like, for example, if I was to launch my own sauna company right now, and other than working with these people I'm working with, if I did all these things right, all the customers are going to me within a few years or months. They're going to come to me, and that word spreads. People don't realize the impact you actually have on people, or the lack of impact you have on people, when you are or are not marketing to them, and marketing to them as you should be.
Maybe you're getting your calendaring from one software and you're invoicing from another. Evenoo is a platform that we use as one of our sponsors to run our entire business. And there's other features like auto payments and integrations with QuickBooks. Visit evenoo.com, EVONUE.com to learn more. There's also a link in the show notes. And be sure to tell them that the Accidental Entrepreneur referred you. This podcast is brought to you by our affiliate sponsor, iEmployee. iEmployee is a virtual assistant service that hires almost anyone for any role in your company right out of the Philippines. Most roles range from $7 to $9 an hour for highly skilled and experienced VAs. And whether you need an executive assistant, social media manager, video editor, customer service, sales, you name it, they have it. We use iEmployee for our VA services, from editing and promoting the podcast to all the PR and promotion of our law firm. iEmployee acts as a virtual field supervisor on the back end with live video monitoring and reports on a daily basis with screenshots of your VA's workday, and along with complete HR and payroll duties. No more paying for overpriced and underqualified workers. There's a link in the show notes to get a 1-week free trial, and I encourage you to take advantage of it. Right. I also learned that you should be taking that content too and posting it, right? Because it's searchable content. So, and you can make multiple content. I mean, even this show, we take you'll find this, we take the transcript. Now, because of AI, I'm not writing an article for you. We put it into AI. My VA makes an article, posts it, and it becomes searchable content for you and for me, and backlinks and all that kind of stuff. You get that whole system working.
And that's where the omni-channel effect is in place. You know, people look up you for a lawyer. Let's just say it's you and some other lawyer, some other business. You create content across every channel. You do articles with SEO. You do your podcast. You create social media posts. You have a YouTube channel. All the above. Someone looks up. They need a lawyer. They need you name it in your area. Then they look up your competitor who doesn't do any of that. Who is active? Who is a brand that is actually alive?
Right.
All the customers are going to go to that. All the customers. There's a local, not really local. He's in Minneapolis. I'm a few hours north of Minneapolis in Minnesota. A guy who has billboards. But I'm telling you, when you drive down to get to the cities, you're seeing 50 of his billboards. He is the only person in the entire cities that has his name, his brand. It is in your head. So then, because he's able to do this, and he has other ads and stuff all online, he is the number one known in his space.
Is he a PI attorney?
He's in real estate. He's in real estate. He
Sure,
buys. It's a sign with his face, his name. He's like this. It's big and red, saying, "I'll buy anything you got."
Yeah. No, people remember that.
I think his name's Mike Lindell. I forgot his exact name, but people remember it. He's there. And that's what you want. You want that experience of when you think of you in your area, what you sell, your business, whether you're an attorney, whatever you're doing, who comes to mind? If it's you, the marketplace is yours because you are called. And if it's you and it's a good thing that comes to mind,
right?
It's a big factor.
Yeah. So let's talk about then lead gen, since that was a big part of what you said, right? Because you could generate. I mean, there's all kinds of way. Everybody tells you, I can generate leads, right? I get it too from the different organizations. Oh, are you looking for more, business leads?
I can do it.
The crap.
Yep.
So you can generate hundreds of leads, even if you're paying for them. The question is, are they quality? And what are the best ways for companies to do that online? So what kind of recommendations you make to companies?
Number one, beyond for everyone. This is what you need to do. You take a look at what Alex Hormozi and School.com did. You take a look at how Go High Level, the CRM, one of the largest now in the entire space. The reason why they got sued by ClickFunnels. All these companies, what they're doing, you take a look at WAP.com, signed a big deal with Iman Agazi.
Okay.
They all use referral and affiliate marketing because referral and affiliate marketing, word of mouth, through content, through any format, is the strongest, highest, generally converting lead and sales format there is online, period. So what you want to do is, and I'm doing this for an upcoming launch and brand I'm building.
Okay.
The way too many projects I have going on.
Okay.
Is I'm not launching ads to get customers or leads. That's old school. That's 2000 below 2024. I'm going to run ads to get affiliates, because why would I want to get one customer when I can get one affiliate who brings in 10, 50, 100 customers, who then is also at the same time not just generating leads and customers, but also generating content that omni-channelly, just for their own business, is built upon their relationship with me. And then I'm not also probably building a customer with them, and also a brand spreader, a name spreader, a lead customer generating engine with just one person is worth probably 10, 20 customers.
Right.
So running ads to get affiliates and affiliate partners, depending on your industry, there's different ways to do this.
Some industries you can't do it. Some industries you can.
Yes, or there's a there's a workaround of some sorts that's legal and ethical and that works.
Right.
So I think finding that and influencer marketing along with this, anything that spreads your name and brand in your local market or in your immediate warmest market fastest with someone else giving you a good name, that's what's out competing everything else. Because we can't rely on ads anymore. We're not sure what the brand's saying, but if it's someone else saying it and it doesn't look like AI,
Right.
maybe I can trust it.
Yeah, that's why, especially in the professional space where you can't do affiliates, like I can't pay anybody to do
Mm-hmm.
anything, but we can do client reviews. We can ask a client when you do good work or they
Right.
visited your store, whatever your experience was, please write us a review.
Yep. And then running
People see
that
that
as an
stuff.
ad, could you run that as an ad?
Depends on what they say.
So depending on what they say, you could organize and put together a conglomeration of a montage
Like
of
testimonial
testimonials
type of things. Yeah.
as and testimonial ads like that again outperform a lot. It's called
Yeah.
UGC, user generated content. Doing that in your industry or different industry would be an incredible thing you could do for sure. I mean that would perform a lot other than hey, we do no montage testimonials of results and
Yeah.
good word, amazing.
Yeah, look, I have people call me and I say, who referred you? Oh, no, nobody. We looked you up on Google. Well, why'd you look me? You had more reviews than anybody who was there. I'm like,
Yep.
okay,
Take that
because you didn't
all
even think
day.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've automated the process. When somebody finishes work in my CRM and they get marked as the work was completed successfully,
Yep.
it automatically generates a letter that guides them a little bit so I don't worry about ethical
Right.
issues. And then they go on whatever. Usually
Google.
Google is
Yep.
the best place to do it. And then it gets posted to the website.
Yep.
But you're right. You can automate. Oh, so you know what? That brings up another question. You mentioned automation. So if I'm a small business owner and I don't have a big budget, right, to have people working
Mm-hmm.
for me, at least not to start, right? Eventually,
Mm-hmm.
the goal is to not be doing this yourself. What you should
Yep.
be doing is what you're good at, not right. I have a VA for all this stuff too.
Yep.
What are some of the tools that you recommend that people can use to make it easier for them to post, put out content? Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I believe, in today's day
CRMs.
and age, you need one CRM, a good quality, affordability. You want to go to the largest stretch of your budget you possibly can. And the reason
Right.
for that is a good CRM that has a lot of these different features and abilities to follow up in different ways. Closing, depending on the ticket value of what a customer is worth to you, a single customer or many customers, especially over time, is going to be worth the price you're going to pay by
Right.
leaps and bounds. So being
Right.
able to focus on a really good high quality CRM, and whether you build it or have someone build out the most deep, personal, authentic, genuine, varied follow up within that CRM is going to be impeccable. And then I think, like you're saying with content, some kind of, if your CRM doesn't do content creation, planning, syndication, all the above, having one tool or service for that,
Mm-hmm.
because you need your content and lead engine, and then you need your ability to that's your ability to generate leads and customers. Your
Right.
ability to follow up with, nurture, and retain customers is within the CRM.
Right.
You have those two things in place, you're going to do exceptionally well and better than most, especially if you automate content, automate content syndication, automate follow up across multiple channels. Like those four, just do those four things. You're going to set yourself apart from, I mean, quite literally just about every single person in the market by far.
Good. Well, that's a good setup then, because one of our sponsors is a company called Evenue,
Nice.
Evenue. There's a commercial there. People can listen to it. It's built on a Go high level platform,
Nice.
and he's added in pretty much everything. I mean, it replaced DocuSign for me. It replaced Calendly for me. It
Yep.
replaced, billing for me. And I can really do everything. So when somebody responds and makes an appointment, they go on my list. They start getting my emails, my marketing automatically. They have pipelines that I can follow things through and
Yep.
stay after things. And it really did replace almost everything that I do. And it is, you're right. It's if I always find that people have a CRM, but there's some disconnect between getting them into the system. Like if I get a lead and I'm emailing you through my system, you're
Mhm.
in. So I just have to create a pipeline for you or
Yep.
a lead
Yep.
sheet or whatever it's
And
called.
that's really it, is just having something like that, like you're saying, particularly that eliminates a lot of the time and energy and work of you manually doing it.
Yeah.
Now, on top of, if people do want to like scale and hyperscale, I do recommend on top of that also having at least one person in an organization, and you can do it on commission basis, calling and texting every lead that comes through.
Yeah.
That is right. Again, the biggest factor right now is how much personal touch you can get in the door as fast as possible with your audience.
Of course.
And that comes from automated process combined with if I'm on the phone and I'm going to call a lead before you even email them or even after you email them, you don't have someone calling them, they're my customer. You have zero chance. If I'm calling someone personally, like in my marketplace, I will outcompete just verbally.
Because nobody else does it.
No one else does it. And that's what people need. You hear all the time, oh, it's what no one else does. Do that. Do what no one else is willing to do.
Nobody's doing that. Well, then maybe you should do it.
That is what competes. That is what brings you number one.
No, absolutely. I think depending on the industry, I used to say that in my business, you got to get back to somebody within 24 hours or, it's a dead lead. Now I think it's like a couple of hours. I've literally gotten back to people 2 hours later. They go, oh, well, we already hired somebody.
Right. And that's how important this stuff is. And people listen to this and they hear it and they go, oh yeah, all the time I'll go deep down follow-up. Like there's really advanced follow-up in email marketing and stuff I do. And I'll talk to different podcast hosts or different business owners and they're like, oh, this is really cool. And then they never do it. I'm on their email list. I get on all their email lists and I go, your emails are still horrendous. And you never email in the first place.
Right.
And this stuff, it's.
Yeah, I agree. The first step is just doing it.
Yep.
And then you got to then say, okay, well, am I doing it well? And you got to get better at what you're saying.
And any horrendous level of follow-up is better than none.
Yeah.
Really. Right. Like just being seen more often is better than, well, I don't know what to send. Well, Chuck down the block sends a story about him making a sandwich, but at least it made him kind of funny and they liked that. So they called him and then they bought from him.
Yeah. No, I always tell people, listen, if you're just getting started and you have a small budget, don't worry about it. Just get stuff out there, connect with people, post, do blog articles, guest on podcasts, right? A great way to get stuff out there, and then take the transcript, throw it into AI, create an article, put it on your blog, put links in there, backlinks and all that kind of stuff.
Create a video going over it and cut that into shorts.
And then when you get business going and you got some cash flow, then you can hire a professional like you or all these other guys I've met to work for you permanently to, handle everything that you do. I don't do it myself, but I used to have to do it myself.
Right.
And it's hard. It takes a lot of time.
It is, and that's where the automation comes in. And that's where just doing something. Don't do a ton. You don't have the bandwidth or the capacity or the time. Great. Just create something quick, fast. Get it out there. Get it out there. Because if your business isn't visibly alive, then you're visibly dead.
Yeah. Yeah. But don't listen to these people that you got to. Somebody once told me you should be posting 2 or 3 times a day. I'm like, 2 or 3 times a day? I'll be out of business.
It's
now my VA posts every day. I mean, there's posts. It depends on the day. Post, blog, whatever. But that I have her 4 hours a day doing it. So it's a little different.
And it's also relevance of content, relevance of information. So that's a big thing too, is once you have a schedule and you're committing to doing something, it's then how relevant and right in the now is what I'm creating for my audience needed. They want it. They go, oh my, does my audience go, oh my God, this is me right now. This is me in this exact moment. Like we're kind of talking through, like I'm a struggling business. I need leads. The leads I do get, I'm not following up with them enough. Right. I kind of don't know what to send them. You name it. Create content for that person. Like you're most hot in the market, because that's who you want to close now anyways. And then the rest of your market
build your ideal, I mean, they say avatar. I don't like that word. Build your ideal client profile. Like, what's the ideal client you want to work with? Your ideal customer.
You know what's missing from that?
Yeah.
Is the feel. So I see so many businesses with like copywriting and content, and they're doing the right thing. Like they're creating content, they're creating imagery.
Okay.
But what's missing, I think, is I see the content from these businesses, and it feels like it's just content. Yeah. It doesn't feel like they actually care. It doesn't feel like they're passionate. Yeah. So like when I speak, at least I think I speak like this, you feel what I'm saying because I'm not saying it in a way that seems regurgitated, that seems inauthentic. Yeah. And when you create content like that, that is when people want to work with you, buy from you, because your business isn't just like a name and brand. It is a feeling. When I see your face, when I hear it, when I see your content, I go, I know what I'm about to. I know how spot on John is. I know how intense John is. I know how much he doesn't pause and he just keeps talking without a bait because he's so focused and so passionate.
Right.
When there's that in your content, when you try to get that as you develop content over time, you get that. And I got warmed up now. Now I'm ready to go.
Right.
You get that. People love it and they see it, and that's when they build a bond with you, and then they love your content. Now they're almost guaranteed to become a customer because you actually built something with them, because the brand and content you create actually means something.
Right. So how do you do that, John? Do you guest on podcasts? Do you do videos? Do you interview clients? Do you I mean, you're going to say all those things, but you know what I mean? Like, how do you
all
make that come through? Can't be an
all
article
those
necessarily.
right, no, and I think it has to come from a single place that is represented throughout all those things. And what I
Okay.
think that is if you're like an individual business owner, it's finding the strongest of who you are as a person and how you speak, like your actual personality. This is deeper than the content and any of that. So for example, my personality, I like to talk, which works for podcast. I'm a little humorous. I'm always smiling. So I doubled down into who I really am. Like, I've realized in my content, think about like this, like when you're with your family and friends, what do you actually like? What do you actually like? And
Right.
then be that in all that you do.
Right. Be
Like
authentic.
the best, most authentic, best you, the humorous, the says that, whatever that is for you. Maybe you're more serious. Maybe you're really quiet, but maybe that little quietness could still be a focusing thing you do.
Right.
And I'm switching up my tone as I do this because I use it in my language.
Right.
So then I think it's discovering and really thinking truly to my brand. What do I want to be? Not what the industry wants me to be. So often I've said, like, for me, the industry wants me to be. I'm a business consultant, very professional.
Right.
That's not my personality. What I am that I think's better is I'm very authentic and I actually care about you deeply. Do you want someone
Okay.
who's professional,
Right.
or do you want someone who actually cares about you? Which some audience goes towards professional, but if you want someone who actually cares, that's when you're going to get me. And when you talk, I think like this and have that passion in what you do, and you can represent that, it's felt throughout your branding, it's felt throughout your content, it's felt throughout your advertising. It's all authentic. Everything converts better. People have a better reputation of you. It all kind of works together.
So how do you do that? You come into a situation where the business owner maybe is kind of quiet,
Mm-hmm.
a little nervous, whatever. How do you start to help them do that?
Yeah. So for me personally, then, for like my personality type, because you don't match with every customer you talk to,
Yeah.
not nearly.
No, no, no. There's
Most
people
people.
that you shouldn't be working with, people that you don't want to work with, people that you really can't help.
Yep. So that's where, and I've learned this more and more as I've worked with businesses, and especially with larger deals. Deep discovery of who you're working with, to almost a ridiculous extent. Like, you want to ask so many questions, and not because you're trying to sell them, which is
Right.
what people sense. They sense, like, when you get a sales call, it's questions like, "So, where are you at right now? What are you working on?"
Right.
Cut the bullshit, folks. We
Yeah.
all see it and know exactly what's going on.
Right.
So you have a quiet customer who isn't really telling you a lot, and they're kind of down, and you want to meet them where they're at, but still with your personality. So I would, slow down my language, kind of match their tone, kind of match who they are, but
Right.
still bring myself, my authenticity, and like my personality to the picture. So I make some quiet jokes. I'm still gonna, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're telling me this is what's going on, when really, from what you've told me, this is going on with your leads. This is going on with your ads. The blind spot is in you're not following up. When you are following up, you're not meeting your customers with real passion, with real authenticity. And that's what's not clicking. Does that make sense? Which also leads to asking questions, yes questions, leading questions. If you want to use a little salesmanship, I usually don't as much anymore. But until my advice would be, until you develop this strong you want to use as much salesmanship as you can. Not selling, but authentic question asking.
Right.
Because when you deep dive enough, you'll find out if A, the customer is meant for you, you're meant for the customer, and then, oh my God, you actually do need this stuff, what I'm doing, so bad. So the sauna company, in person, I told them after I talked to them, I thought it was going to be a one-on-one and ended up being a online to a one-on-one to 1v3 situation selling to them, which I did
Hmm.
zero selling. It was
Right.
just question asking, identifying, and at the end of it, I said, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It would be really stupid not to work with me. And I don't mean that as in you're stupid. I mean that as in this is such, and I meant it, and they felt that, a win-win for your business to grow. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, if we don't do this, you saw, and we talked through all these scenarios.
Right.
What am I missing here if we don't make this work? And of course, because it was real, authentic, and it was true with a little salesmanship, that's when people buy, no problem. And
Yeah.
they did, and then it works out very well.
Yeah, I have a good friend, a guy named Jason Cutter, who's he's a sales
Mhm.
trainer. Right? He's not a marketer.
Mhm.
He's been on the show a couple of times. He wrote a book called Authentic Persuasion. And it's all
Nice.
about being authentic because people nowadays are not too good when you come to their house and you're sitting at their kitchen table and they're like, oh, here we go,
I know.
and they
It's
feel like they've been
immediate.
taken advantage of. But yeah, no. So what do you do with somebody who's kind of an introvert and they're really not? I mean, they are the brand, but they're not a good face for the brand. I mean, what do you do? Do you bring someone in? Do you do it yourself? You have your people do it? How do you get by that if I'm the guy who,
Right.
you
So
know?
I think it has to match the brand. So again, not necessarily every, like, this personality doesn't fit probably with being a lawyer necessarily. It might, maybe it
No, it
would,
might. People want you to be accessible. You
but
are.
it depends on. I'm thinking through this carefully.
Yeah.
I think it depends on if you want to match the brand or you want the brand to match you. Because then I would say you want to change your brand to what you are authentically. If you are the leader in the business, I think in most cases you want it to match you, who you are. If you're the face of the content, it has to match you. Because if you're trying to match the brand and that's not your personality type, it's seen, it's obvious.
Right.
So I think make the brand match you. You might have to do some rebranding. You might have to change it. Because here's a big thing too: is I didn't realize this till recently. I have 3 copywriting books. I recently read in the past few days, literally just going through them, because I for a long time didn't understand branding. I didn't think it was a thing. I'm like, this is not a thing. The colors of your text don't matter. The
All
fonts,
matters. Sure. But branding sometimes is personal, right? Sometimes you're branding the guy because he's a
yes,
small business owner versus, you know,
yes. And my point with that is that I didn't realize even until more recently that these other elements also affect it. So say I'm a quiet guy. I want to be the face of the brand, but I'm not loud. So I need to be a more quiet style. I'm going to keep my quiet style. And
right.
then my website, my branding, my imagery, my logo should match kind of a quiet but authentic, strong realism. So then
Okay.
you change your coloring, you change your text, you change your imagery, you change the brand. I think again to match who you are. And then again, maybe you need to develop. Maybe if you really don't have a match for your market, then maybe you need to do some self development. You need to learn how to write better copy and level up your brand name.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think you have a strong enough one, then you need to change your marketing to match this, because otherwise there's incongruency, and the incongruency is subconsciously and consciously felt when people see you.
Right. No, that makes sense. You want to match, you want to do it in the style in which you're comfortable and which the style in which you come across as authentic. If you try to
Yes.
be this outgoing person, then you're really not.
Yes.
Eventually, that's going to come through and not be
Yeah, and it's almost like when I see certain marketers, which we discussed, which we won't go too deep
right.
into.
Yeah, no, that
You
was
see
all.
certain marketers, and it's not even those ones we talked about. There's other ones where I see their content, and like even in their face, because I read really deeply into people's faces, their every little movement. Something with how they're talking doesn't match what they're saying or the way they're saying it. And I don't know what it is. My generation says they get
Does
the
that
ick.
mean you're like not buying what they're saying? You're
I'm
like,
not
this is off,
buying it.
or
Yeah, I'm not buying it. And it's because of these little incongruencies with it could be the depth of how they're talking, the you name it. If I'm trying to represent like I'm this really deep philosophical marketer that understands marketing down to the psychological triggers and emotions, you name it.
right?
But I don't sound like this. And
Yeah,
I'm not going into enough detail. Like it's really light and broad. And I'm not like speaking with I'm just really dead in the face. And different elements of this I pick up on, and I think other people pick up on, and that's why certain brands' businesses don't grow, because there's some incongruency that it doesn't help. Like you can have and be successful for sure. Like there's many people who are very successful, and certain elements of these are horrendous, but
Right.
it helps a lot grow when it matches. So like look at like Grant Cardone, for example. Grant Cardone is business is speed. You need to get out there. What does this brand represent, whether you like him or not? That is his brand. Is in your face, market now, let's close a deal, let's make something happen.
Right.
He's authentic. It may not be the authenticity you like,
Right.
but at least he's authentic to kind of what he seems like a little bit.
Right. If it's not for you, then that's fine. Now, are you partial to, I was going to say platforms, but
Mm-hmm.
any different types of media? Like you like printed versus like video? I mean, I know the issue about you want searchable content
Right.
that's out there, but it seems to be like the podcast, we're kind of converting it mostly to video.
Yeah. I
Um,
think right now video is going to be and will continue to be the strongest. YouTube's overtaking Google.
right.
And also it's more higher converting. It's more rewatchable.
Because
But
people see you, right? They hear
yes,
you and they get your body
but
language and the whole thing. Yeah.
almost what you want to do is speak as if you're writing a letter.
Okay.
It's the written. So all advertising, like all of these books, everything I've ever learned is that the best copy is written like it's from a best friend. Like I'm talking like I'm a friend. I know you. I like you.
Right.
That's how I'm talking to you. Copy and content and ads that are like that, you name it, that are communicated like they are the written word and meant. That is what works. That is what converts. And I think with long form video first, cut into short form content, cut
Right.
into articles, cut into social media pieces, that is what is going to be the most effective. You combine that with testimonials, you combine that with affiliates, you combine that with these other things you
Yeah. You
mentioned.
get all these things working. Of course.
It works really, really well.
That's why I like guesting on a podcast, because you talk to somebody for 45 minutes or an hour. Now you can make all this stuff. We always tell our guests, and we'll give it to you too. Here's the raw video. Do whatever you want. You can have our reels, our TikToks. You can have the raw
Yep.
video, and now it's easy to break this stuff up. Some of these services do it.
Yeah,
You know,
it's important. Like I
automatic.
said, this is going to be the regular for the most successful businesses are going to be doing this at scale. All even like more large brands, like global brands like Kraft and stuff, they're
Yeah.
starting to do TikTok trends, and they're starting to do a lot of these things because you can either
That's where the
meet,
eyeballs are, right?
yeah, you can meet the market, or you can go, no, I don't want to do any of that. Great, keep doing whatever you're doing, and when the market is entirely AI in the next 3 years, you'll see what happens.
Right, exactly. Well, I think you got to stay with the trends, and that's the hardest part about the whole thing, right? With
Yep.
as a business owner, you don't. We were saying this offline. You really don't know who to listen to and what to. So I think you got to
Yep.
find people that, like you said, that you trust, that you think are honest with you, that you
Yep.
think are smart and understand these constant changes.
Yep.
And your marketing can't be just set it and forget it. I mean, you got to tweak things and move and find the new platforms. Whatever. How many years ago there was no TikTok? Didn't exist.
Right. And I think
You
deep
know.
knowledge, when you can find a marketer or the business person or whatever influence you're trying to grow in any area of your life,
Mm-hmm.
the deep knowledge of how they speak, that is what you know if someone's less or more of a facade. So, for example, I follow digital marketing like Frank Kern, Alan Seltenick. I think I'm pretty good at some pretty good, deep, advanced marketing. When people speak and they speak clearly and articulately and they can walk you through all these different things
Right.
versus more generalist. Well, generalists often can be really popular. The
They don't really
intricate
give you
deeps,
quality, right?
yeah, it's not quality, and
Closeness.
that's
Yeah.
a way to know the difference.
Yeah. If they're really giving you substantive advice and guidance, and
Yeah,
we were saying that offline. There's a lot of guys that sell services, quote unquote, and it doesn't seem like they're giving it much to the people that are parting with their money. And some of them
yeah.
are just really good salespeople.
And then
And
behind the scenes, it is not the same picture at all.
right, exactly. And I think people, they know they pay, they don't expect a lot, but they should. They
Right,
should.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think also like when people look at like right now, a lot of reviews you can find reviews. There's a lot of bot reviews. There's so many things you can do with reviews.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like if I'm going to hire like someone who's to hire me like a consultant, do deep research on someone before you. If you're going to spend a lot of money, do some deep research.
Right.
And that's also when the more authentic, really good businesses and marketers and just people will keep performing better and better because when someone does research on me, for example, you can find, I don't think, a single bad review of my name online, not one.
Yeah.
Because this is like, I'm actually like this.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a few people who the deal didn't work out exactly
Yeah.
as they wanted.
No, I
Sure.
got some online. I got
Yeah.
some from people that we represented, right? So let's say you owed somebody money and I
Yeah.
sued you for the client. So you're not a client of mine. They go and they put reviews online.
Of course.
These
Of
people steal
course.
your money and whatever. I'm like, what? We sued you for another guy.
It was my job to sue you. What am I supposed to do? Not sue you?
Yeah, we've gotten a bunch of those. We've gotten names from people that we can't figure out who they are. They've never been our client. We've never sued them for
Right.
don't know who they are. Can't get it. But they're very old. My old firm. They go way back.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta watch that stuff. I think that people need to learn that you got to be doing a lot of things, and in order to you can get started slowly, but in order to do a lot of things, you gotta get a professional organization involved. Even if you just hire a VA to do
Yep.
some stuff for you, you're just never going to get to the next level of, like you said, automated. Automated is not
System.
just, it doesn't happen on its own. So you need
Right.
somebody doing the automation behind the scenes, right?
And
So
doing it well, preferably. And again, the big thing is just the warning of this keeps becoming the case. Like as more things are getting more and more advanced, strategic, and you name it, like you're not going to do this stuff. Or you should do this stuff, but if you're not going to do this stuff, in very shortly here, the people who are will far
they're
outcompete
going to
you,
pass you, right?
and you will.
Right.
You might exist, you might have a business,
Yeah.
but you're not going to ever get to the level that you really truly want to be unless you're doing at least some. That's my biggest message is take one of these things. People who are
Right.
listening, take a single one. Like, all right, I obviously have think about yourself. I have horrendous follow up. I don't email my list. I don't give them any content. What if I just sat down for a few days or weeks or you name it, and I need to get a really good follow up system in place that nurtures, that makes
Yeah.
people love me, my
That's it.
name.
Just
That's it.
follow up with people. You get their
Just,
email, follow up on them.
just
Yeah.
try that.
Yeah. No, I learned the hard way. I had a client years ago who I handled, I guess, business for him, and I used to do stuff, and I do a lot of estate planning and work like that also. So he calls me one day and he said, "Can you refer me to a really good estate planning attorney now that we got the business together? I got to do wills and trusts for my kids."
Yeah.
And I looked at him like, "Is that a joke? Are you kidding me?" Like, and he's like, "No." I said, "I do that." He goes, "You do?" Now that was my fault, right? Because
Right.
obviously I'm not communicating that. So we redid our whole system. A lot of that stuff was not automated or digital in those days. It was
Yep.
like you had to send postcards to people, and started rebuilding the system. I said, I never want to have this happen again. So I
Yep.
have a system where people hear from me, once, twice a week if
Nice.
they're subscribed to the podcast or whatever.
Right.
I don't
Something.
want
Something.
Yeah, and it's not so hard. I mean, you and I both know you could even open up a MailChimp account and put up to 2,000 names on your list. It's just for marketing, but
Right.
it's free.
Yeah, literally.
So
You can do this for
do
free.
that for a while. Yeah. I mean, you don't have a CRM, you don't have all the parts and whatever, but fine. Just send emails to people and then build on that and add pieces to that as you go, recognizing that things are always changing. So you do have to update things and you do have to stay on top of it. And as the business starts coming in, right, that's the key, right? You need cash flow.
Yeah.
You got to make money.
Yeah.
Then start to put more and more towards it. Because $5,000 or $10,000 budget for marketing for a small business is a lot of money.
Oh,
So
right.
you got to spend it. You got to spend it effectively.
You got to spend it effectively, and also realize that if you do this stuff at least half okay, you're going to get some kind of return at some point. Like you really are, because that's what a lot of businesses are so afraid of. Like even with how much, like for this company I worked with, I'm working with still, I laid out. I mean, the difference of what's going to happen over the next few months to them is incredible. But even then, they're still like, and that's because of the market. Like people are so like, I'm not sure if are you really what you say you are? Blah blah blah. Are you like
promises
this?
all the time? They don't deliver, right?
Right. It's a lot of people do that for sure. A lot of people, more than most people think. It's so frequent. So I get the trepidation of hesitancy, and but just do a couple of these things. Just do one or two, and you'll notice. Just call every lead if you can, or email every lead directly within 5-10 minutes. That alone,
you're gonna follow up alone. It makes a huge difference.
You'll have an increase like crazy.
Yeah. All right. I can't thank you enough. We're coming up on an hour here. So if people want to learn from you, interact with you, get into your world, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
If you're looking to grow your business, please go to profitalize.com. If you don't have a big budget, I have a book called Buyer Leads to learn how to generate and close and get leads that are actually the buyer type, your warm and hot market only. And as well, of course, if you go down the line, you want consulting, other services, anything you need. I have conversations with people, and if it makes
Great.
sense, we work together.
All right,
and then
we'll
also
put a link.
YouTube.
We'll put a link. Okay, so you're on YouTube too. So we'll put a link
Yes.
to your website, put a link to YouTube, send us a link to the book, and
Yes.
we'll put it on the show notes. And yeah, let's keep spreading the good word. Get people to improve their cash flow. That's what it's all about.
Yes,
right?
improve the cash flow, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, John, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Take care.
In addition to being a podcast host, I'm also a small business attorney, mostly providing legal services in New York and New Jersey. With over 3 decades of experience, we can handle most transactional issues. So if you're watching the show and you encounter some sort of legal issue, reach out to us and visit our website, beinhakerlaw.com. Thanks for tuning into the show and for continuing to support us.